you really think about it, like a small contract in the NFL is hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably.
Right.
Um,
That's like league minimum. League minimum for baseball is $550,000 a year, and that's in the major leagues. That's league minimum. But then again, like the minor leaguers, there's like barely anything payroll for them. It's just your signing bonus, and then
yeah.
you don't make the big signing bonus. You're just living off of whatever they give you.
Well, and a lot of that is because you get paid off viewership, and so if there's not a lot of people watching minor leagues, everyone's watching the major leagues. You can only get paid what they are allowed to pay you. Like, and that's one of the big arguments we're all having. Like, not us specifically, but like the world is having is the WNBA or women's sports versus men's sports. Should they be paid more than $200,000 a season, or should they be like have that because of the right there the viewership and the same thing with minor leagues. Should they have a league minimum for a minor league to support families, because they are grinding and they are playing a sport, they are professionals at some level, but it's almost like where do you get the money and how would you do that?
Yeah, it's like I get it's that WNBA and the women's national championships is a insanely touchy subject for people to dive into. But I know like for like minor leagues, like it's hard because there's like you're literally like I said, a double A team, like you're you're a step away. Like you're literally one phone call away from being in the big leagues. But like the difference in viewership is huge. Like nobody, you know, the amount of people watching the World Series is not similar to the minor league championship. Not even close.
Not even close. Yeah.
So like that's pretty interesting. It's true to think about stuff like that. But then again, they are one phone call away from being on that team. So it's hard. I'm sure I can understand how like viewership goes both ways.
Well, what I think about is crazy too is like, you know, creative endeavors, artists, things like that. You could have the best musician in the world or the best artist in the world, and they are one like exposure on Twitter away from being rich. I think about
There's
that
like
all the time.
I think of that stuff too. Like there's so many people like that. There's like I think there's so many people that you just know in your daily life that like and then you look at famous people sometimes too and you're like how's this guy? How's this guy doing this? How's this guy famous? How's this guy this? But like there's so many people who are just like one step away because then it always comes up in conversation too. Like you're like, oh, you know this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, like they went to my high school. They were just a random dude going from biology to PE in second and third period, and then now like something happened that blew them up, and now they're famous. Like it's strange how that works, but
No, and like what I've seen, like I've talked to 50 countless people on this podcast now, and I talked to ranging from neurobiologists and neurovirologists to like professional boxers, and it's crazy to like see like hear people's stories, how they got to where they are, and things like that. And like the neurovirologist, he's got a I don't know 30,000 followers on Instagram, and he was telling me that his life blew up because of COVID. He started doing like people kept asking him questions because he studies viruses and how they affect neurons in the brain and everything like that. And so COVID comes along, and he was like, "Yeah, this is the first time in my life people thought what I did was important." And so people kept asking him questions. He's like, "Oh, maybe like other people like want to know these answers too." And he started doing like these little clips on Instagram of like answering questions and stuff, and his following blew up. And he was like,
right.
"Dude, he's like, for a while there, I was feeling like." I can't remember what he said, anywhere from 100 to 1,000 questions a day. And I was like, holy. And he's like, yeah, he's like, my life blew up. But it's like, just like that, he does something that just involves an intellect, and it involves, he's getting his PhD. He's a fourth year PhD candidate. And now he's making probably money off of social media because of COVID. It's fascinating to think that you're, especially with social media, all these realms of life, they're like always one step away from success, like extreme wealth and success.
Yeah, it's that's what the hard part is. Like everybody is. I think most people like there's people who just aren't doing nothing and like it's they just like there's just some people like that and it like sucks to see it because like you always want people to be successful but then again like, there's so many people who are doing something who have that thing who that whatever it is and they're just like, it's like I said, it's a Twitter, like you said, it's a Twitter video. It's like a couple thousand retweets from a following, an interview, anything like that, and they become somebody.